lightweights. All right, hello, wine-drinking people. Today is Saturday, October 9th. Finishing out another great week here at the Wine Watch. We got a lot to do in the What I Drank Yesterday. A lot to talk about in the What I Drank Yesterday part, so I'm going to get right to it here. We got a couple suppliers in the store. Usually Friday, we get a day off. But, man, we had a busy day in the store. First up, we had a rep from Opeachy in with some wines from the Terraces winery in Napa Valley. Tim Kroll molested my wife at our last visit there, but, hey, she deserved it. She jumped in his lap, and he was drunk. So, I mean, you know, what are you going to do when you got somebody in your lap and you're drunk? But I told her, just don't jump in his lap, damn it. No, we had a great time there. Tim's a good guy. And he also makes some aged balsamic vinegar. Kind of neat. He'll take you through the tour there of the Quarry Vineyard and his little tiny barriques that he keeps his balsamic in. Really neat stuff. He's kind of a mad scientist type. But makes some very good wine. The Chardonnay is an unoaked version of Chardonnay. Lovely freshness to this. Lemon, citrus, green apple. Little hint of steely minerality to it. Bright and focused on the palate with a nice amount of juicy fruit there. Pure, unadulterated Chardonnay. All right, next up we had the Zinfandel from Terraces. My favorite wine from them, the Cabernet, was not here, but they make a very good Zinfandel for someone that's not a huge fan of Zinfandel. 10% Petit Syrah, 1% Cabernet Sauvignon. Maybe that's one of the things that adds to the goodness of this wine. It's got other grapes in it. And pretty big and rich style, blackberry, blueberry fruit, very concentrated, lovely toasty oak, a light smoky tobacco kind of nuance to that, rich and chewy on the tongue with nice balance. The Petit Syrah adding a bit of lift to this wine, a little bit of length on the finish. Nice hand of spice, but still very fresh. A nice Zinfandel, excellent juice. All right, next up we had the folks from Catena Zapata, or Nicolas Catena Winery, Catena Zapata being their top wines, and that's all they brought today. Let me pinch myself. Jeez, you're not going to make me drink all this entry-level stuff, which is very good. Everything from this winery is excellent. We do a number of events with Nicolas Catena's wines through the course of the year here, and we're happy to see the new single vineyards come along. And oops! One of the wines was 05, the Zapata Niquesa Vineyard, and these wines, some of the best wines made in Argentina, in my opinion. Nicolas Catena, the most important producer there, and this 05, really legendary stuff, man. Toasty oak spice, coffee, lovely roasted quality to the dark cherry and blackberry fruit there, sweet tobacco spice, fresh earth, very complex, big and chewy on the tongue with lots of black fruit, wonderful concentration and depth of fruit, but great balance and freshness. One of the things I love about these old school style Malbecs, not the ones that are overly oaky and overly concentrated, even though this wine had good concentration and a fair amount of oak. Lovely balance. Most excellent. All right, next up we had the Adriana Vineyard from 06, and these 06s to me seemed a little sweeter, a little fruitier, a little riper, and man, the 05s were killer. The 06s look equally as good. This wine is from a small area in the side of Tupungato, on the highest altitude side of Tupungato Rally. Guadalajara is the name of the area. And black spice, smoke, almost like a burnt kind of campfire wood note to the nose, like a burnt marshmallow on a stick. And then blackberry and blueberry fruit, black raspberry, violet aromas, very rich, kind of sweet balsamic notes, espresso, dark chocolate, zesty acidity, and again, very good freshness, even though this wine is huge. Killer. That was the best wine in the lineup. Next up, the Argentino, and another single vineyard wine. They have 5 single vineyards that go into the Catena Zapata. This is actually this was a blend of the last 2 vineyards, the Argentino, the Adriana, and the Niquesa, but of course from the 06 vintage, not the 05 and the 06 together. Okay, and the same production level, only 250 cases for these wines, a tiny amount produced for the world, and another blockbuster. Wow, you notice that lovely smoky, toasty oak spice, fresh black earth, dark chocolate, violet floral tones, very pretty, packed with just enormous quantities of this fruit on the palate. Really rich, really dense, echoing those spice notes through the finish. Most excellent. Again, and then the big boy, the Catena Zapata. This is a blend of all 5 of those single vineyards I mentioned before. 70% Cabernet and 30% Malbec. Man, a full array of toasty oak spice, sweet tobacco, fresh flowers, herbs, dark chocolate, cocoa. Big and chewy wine, but again, balanced and fresh on the finish. Most excellent. This 06 vintage proving to be another very good vintage from Mendoza, it looks like. All right, then we had Harley from Unfined and Unfiltered in, a new distribution company that we just started doing business with, but has some very nice stuff. He brought in a Debode Valois Brut Camont Champagne, and this wine was from the Côte de Blanc, fresh apple and pear fruit with a light ginger kind of spice, little white floral notes to it, light creamy mousse on the tongue, fresh and clean flavors, very nice and fresh in the finish. Then we had the Domaine de Grand Mouton Latour Métallard Muscadet. Wow, this wine's got a freaking Olympic-sized name here for a Muscadet, but pretty typical Muscadet. Light, chalky, minerally notes, lime, citrus fruit, light floral notes, zesty, lemon, lime, citrus on the tongue with a note of that light minerality and a little sea salt kind of note on the finish. Pretty good. It's Muscadet, though. I mean, how good could it be? And then Domaine Laporte, Domaine de la Roche Sancerre. This was a really nice Sancerre, and this had a little bit of a note of a kind of a fresh sea salt to it, lime citrus on the nose, gooseberry fruit, classic Sancerre, fresh and crisp green apple also, a hint of that grassiness there, lovely bright gooseberry and great concentration on the tongue here, and a long finish. Excellent Sancerre. Next up we had a little Chory Le Bon from Michel Gay. And this wine was pretty good, a little light, not quite as minerally and not quite as tannic as some Beaune wines can be, but had some lovely red cherry fruits and some nice floral notes to it. Again, a little bit soft on the finish. Usually I associate Beaune with wines having a little more structure to them. And then Chambeau Musigny from Perrot Minot. And the only problem with this wine, the price, $210 for Premier Cru Chambeau Musigny. Are you kidding me? I can sell you Georges Comte de Vogue Premier Cru for less than that. But a nice little wine nonetheless. We're going to have to get the pencil sharpener out for this one. All right, Domaine Gris de Boris Duo de Chaux. What the hell's with the tongue twisters he's bringing in here today with us, Harley? Can we bring wines that are a little easier to pronounce, buddy? All right, I don't know anything about this wine, but it was pretty good. Fresh blackberry, black cherry kind of fruit with a light peppery spice. It's a 50-50 Grenache blend. Okay, there we are. I knew I took notes on this for a reason. And notes of fresh herbs and flowers, similar to what you get in the Southern Rhone there. Good amount of ripe berry fruit pie on the palate, smooth and round tannins, nice freshness, notes of flowers and pepper also there. And then up a Malbec from the Vin de Pays. Not very exciting. And then a wine from Australia, the Langhorne Creek, Bremerton Shiraz. Thick blackberry jam here, lovely fruit, little brown sugar, black spices, fairly typical Aussie Shiraz bouquet with a hint of that mint chocolate chip kind of note there. Excellent concentration on the palate of black plum fruit and firm acidity, good amount of tannins, and plenty of rich ripe fruit to match. Really nice little Aussie. And then we had another Shiraz from the Barossa, Butting Heads. And, man, this wine was big, 15.5% alcohol, but you really didn't notice it. Very well-balanced, black pepper spice, kind of an elegant style of Shiraz from the Barossa and for being this big. But really nice and very well-balanced. A nice change in pace for a big Aussie Shiraz. Excellent. A little bit heavy in price, though, $60 a bottle. All right, next up, one last producer, believe it or not, folks. Wow, what a marathon day for Friday. We had Giovanni Rosso Barbera di Alba. Caroline from Burton Henry was in with just 2 wines. Fresh herbs, floral notes with that. I love Barbera di Alba. Some lovely black truffle, black spice, tar notes to the nose. Classic Piedmont. Soft and velvety texture on the tongue. Nice core of black cherry fruit and lovely freshness there also. A very good little Barbera. And then a great wine from Chile, Altair. We've had this wine before, even the 2003. I think 2 or 3 years ago, people were showing this wine to us. Still a really nice wine. Still a little bit overpriced for what we get from Chile. We expect great value. $70 a bottle. That's why this wine has been hanging around South Florida for 3 or 4 years at distributors' warehouses. A nice little wine, but again, we want value from Chile. All right, check it out, along with everything else that I had to drink last night. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasone, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.